Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on issue 4 of the 2015 Marvel Star Wars comics. Now, as you know, Marvel's got the rights back to Star Wars due to Disney purchasing Star Wars in 2013, and the cover we mainly have is Darth Vader in a cool, badass position, looking onward at an unknown person near a Tatooine hut. And the story mainly starts off with the Empire making their way to Tatooine, and we see one of Jabba's aides saying, "And he hopes that these negotiations prove beneficial for all. You may dispense with the pleasure. We will begin the notifications now, and give the Emperor what he wants. He will allow you to live." And of course, we kind of see how Darth Vader meets Jabba the Hutt, who mainly talks with him about, the sort of, like, the things that have happened with the Death Star and that, and how, Jabba has been given the Empire their sort of resources and funds. And we see Jabba saying, "Despite all the Empire's splendid new garrison here, the Outer Rim is still a wild place. Lord Vader and Coruscant is so far away." And of course, we do kind of see how Jabba wants Darth Vader and his stormtroopers to come with him on the sail barge to kind of have some entertainment. Back on the Rebel fleet, we kind of see how Han Solo and Chewie are trying to repair the Millennium Falcon, despite it being a little tricky in that. We see how, C-3PO has been fixed, and we see how Leia voices her disapproval with how the Empire haven't been taken down fully, and we see how Admiral Akbar, Mothra, and the others are trying to talk with Leia, saying they are doing the best they can. But Leia knows that, taking down the Death Star and that weapons factory was only a tipping stone, but the Empire will have other resources. And we see how Luke is still doing his Jedi training, but we know without basically Obi-Wan to help him, we know Luke knows this isn't going to be easy for him. And we see how Leia tries to talk with Luke, but even Luke points out that, he almost got everyone killed, and that, he's no Jedi. And we see him saying, "All I am is a danger to everyone around me." What? Why you are so special? General Kenobi saw that. I don't know why you won't let yourself accept it. And we also know that, Luke needs to find answers, and tries to kind of do a bit of soul searching. We also see, some of, like, Greedo's sort of other members try to show up to sort of talk with an unknown bounty hunter, and even turns out this bounty hunter is a lot more prepared, and even says, "Well, in that case, knees, what did you..." And turns out, this one is more prepared, and turns out the Rhodians and that also worked with Greedo, and pointed out how, Han Solo basically killed Greedo, and that Han Solo is off-world. And turns out this person actually knows who Han Solo is, and wants to find where he is. We also see, on the sail barge, that Jabba's ordered his men to take down Banthras, and we kind of see how, Jabba has his little cackling creature, and we see Darth Vader saying, "If you value that creature's life, you should tell it to never again do that in my presence." And of course, we do kind of see how Jabba talks about the Jedi, everything else, and even mentioning about the Death Star, the bounty hunters he's been given, and everything else. And even mentions how, Luke is starting to build a name for himself, and even Darth Vader, when he heard the words how, "Who knew anyone of note was ever born on Tatooine?" And I think this is a moment where Darth Vader is being reminded of when he used to be Anakin, And yeah, the Bantha is being massively slaughtered. And we do kind of see how Luke leaves the sort of rebel ship, despite Leia's protests and that. And we see how Luke journeys it off to Tatooine. We see how the Rodians have been sort of tended to, but we kind of see how they now have to deal with getting more answers from Boba Fett, who says, and Boba Fett is asking for questions. And yeah, we know who Boba Fett is, and it's going to lead to another story that's going to bring back more classic Star Wars characters. And so my thoughts on issue 4 is okay. Like I said, after the whole kind of weapons factory storyline, we are going to see more characters be built up a bit more. We're going to see old elements of the old Star Wars stuff being brought back, and the writers saying, remember this, remember that. Do you remember Jabba the Hutt and his cackling creature? And I can kind of see where the Marvel Comics are trying to do with the continuity, but it feels like Disney and the executives are trying to say, we want to go back on the old roots, we want you to do this, we don't want to go back on some of the old elements of Dark Horse and the original continuity. So I think the issue is still okay, so it still deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.